Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're reviewing for you Freedom Planet 2 on the Nintendo Switch. This review was originally written by the lovely Mitch Vogel and has been adapted for video by me. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. Back in the space year 2014, a team of new developers calling themselves Galaxy Trail released Freedom Planet, a retro-style platformer that captured the hearts of many classic-era Sonic the Hedgehog fans. It did, in fact, start its life as a Sonic fan game, though it established a unique identity for itself as development wore on and sales were fortunately high enough that the team was able to greenlight the development of a sequel. And that's this game. 10 years on, Freedom Planet 2 has finally arrived for consoles, and we're pleased to report that it is everything you'd hope for from a sequel. The level designs are tighter, the gameplay is more exciting, the graphics have got a more than a nice boost. This is all around just a much more confident and enthralling release. The story picks up at the same time as the ending of the first game, with the climactic events of the finale causing an ancient water dragon called Murga to be released from its magical prison. The plot then jumps forward 3 years, following original protagonists Lilac, Carol, and Mia as they work to clean up the few robot stragglers left over from the events of the first game. The trio is then recruited by Nera, who is now playable this time, for a meeting with the Magister, who asks them to help in getting to the bottom of who has been causing the recent robot attacks. Naturally, the ancient threat they unknowingly released has something to do with it, kicking off a lengthy journey to reveal this new villain's motives and ultimately foil their plans. It's a compelling enough story, helped in no small part by much better cutscene pacing this time around. The original Freedom Planet was notorious for its lengthy cutscenes, but here they convey just enough information to keep the plot moving and build the characters without getting in the way of the high-speed gameplay. Voice acting performances overall feel much stronger as well, with returning cast members such as Dawn Bennett and Amy Smith showing their matured skills, and this goes a long way to enhancing the quality of the many cutscenes. For those of you who still aren't too jazzed by the focus on the story, cutscenes are easily skippable, while completing the game in adventure mode unlocks a classic mode that lets you play through all the platforming stages back to back. Gameplay follows the original structure, tasking you with guiding your chosen character through stages packed with multiple routes as fast as you physically can. This time around, the two-act structure has been dropped in favor of one-shot stages with slightly shorter runtimes compared to their predecessors, each of which is capped off with a boss fight. Although the mechanics here are largely the same, there have been some welcome additions, such as a guard move for each character that grants them a few invulnerability frames to dodge through enemies, and a revive option to continue playing right from where you died for a small penalty. Freedom Planet 2 may feel very similar to its predecessor then, but the quality of the gameplay and level designs here have seen a substantial increase in polish. The original was certainly no slouch in this department, but the stage design in this sequel just flows so much better. Every level is packed to bursting with new stage gimmicks and mechanics, thrilling set-piece moments, and near-perfect balance of speed and exploration, making each stage feel like a wonderful theme park ride in all the best ways. Not only do the multiple potential routes through a level offer up a lot of replay potential as you beat your best times, but there are now 4 playable characters that each feel meaningfully distinct. Lilac, for example, plays as the quote-unquote Sonic of this release, focused on high-speed antics with a few helpful options for gaining altitude, while newcomer Nera is much more technical and combat-focused, centered around various attacks and magical spells that she can cast with her spear. Every character's kit feels complete and brings new ideas to the table, which can often totally change your approach to a level. Though it is a little bit disappointing that the characters weren't given their own stages built for their unique specifications, we still appreciate the variety that they offer, especially given that each one has their own unique perspective on story events as they unfold. When playing in adventure mode, there's a new collection of hub levels interspersed between the action stages, giving you a chance to slow down, talk to some characters, and buy some power-ups at the local shops. Though a change of pace was nice every now and then, these hub levels felt like an unnecessary distraction and a little out of place. Still, you're not required to engage in these hubs for too long, and classic mode strips them out entirely. Visually, Freedom Planet 2 feels like a huge step up from the original, offering an incredibly detailed and smooth art style that makes virtually every frame a treat. Whether you're you're grinding on the roller coaster rails of a theme park-esque Zowland or rolling in a snowball down a hill in the junk-strewn robot graveyard, each stage overwhelms you in a flurry of sights and sounds with unique color palettes, detailed sprite work, and advanced animation all coming together incredibly well. There's a lot of little things as well, like the multi-layered parallax scrolling and the fact that during the Battlesphere stage, there's a slight curve to the background which gives you the sense that you're running around inside a closed arena. These visuals are matched by a similarly excellent soundtrack that mixes pop, jazz, and EDM beats for music that can both raise and cool the intensity as needed. It does have to be said that the track playing for a stage doesn't always quite match the pulse-pounding speed your character is running at as they blitz through obstacles, yet it never really feels out of place. There's an almost dreamlike quality to the music here, and we deeply appreciated the variety. Freedom Planet 2 is an excellent achievement by Galaxy Trail, setting a high bar for quality that will be tough to beat if we're ever lucky enough to get a Freedom Planet 3. A compelling story, well-designed levels, tons of gameplay variety, and gorgeous visuals all come together to make this an absolute must-play for fans of high-speed platformers and a certain blue hedgehog. Freedom Planet 2 exudes quality and passion in just about every way imaginable. You've reached the end of the review, and that means it's time for Alex's personal thoughts, and largely, almost 100%, I agree with Mitch. However, I do have to just respectfully disagree on one area, and that's the story and dialogue and cutscenes. I think it's largely a personal preference, but they just do absolutely nothing for me. And it wasn't long before I was turning off the voices and just skipping the cutscenes entirely. They are absolutely a step up from Freedom Planet 1. That was an experience, to say the least, but even then, I still feel like things have been clawed back against the wishes of the creators, and that they really wanted to put more and more in, and I'm just not here for it. The dialogue kind of makes me wince. The voice acting is acceptable, but not a style I care for. There's a lot left to be desired here for me personally when it comes to the cutscenes. But you know what? A much bigger part of me doesn't care because the gameplay is just mwah. Aside from a few instances of cheap deaths, this actually solves a lot of issues that I have with, I'm gonna say it again, Sonic the Hedgehog. I've never felt that frequent death pits were really ever fun in Sonic, and there basically are none here in my experience. Admittedly, I haven't completed the game, but so far, I haven't come across one. And it's really nice to be able to play through all the stages as different characters as well. I just wish I didn't have to start a new game in order to do it. You know, if I just want to, I want to replay this level, you know, maybe the 7th level in, and I want to replay it as a different character, I have to start from the very beginning and get all the way there again, which is kind of not my preference. I'd just like to be able to just change the character before starting a level, you know. Maybe that doesn't work, and it makes more sense later on in the game, but right now, I'm just like, I just want to play this level again as Carol. I also really wish I liked Nera more in terms of how she controls. Like, she's very combat-focused, and that means that when you get to a boss, you can just rinse through them in a moment, and that is really good fun. It's still very technical, you know, it's not an absolute cakewalk or anything like that, but you can deal an incredible amount of damage, and it's really satisfying. It's just unfortunate that that's like, the boss fights are like 5% of the game, and the rest of the game, you're running through stages, and I just don't care for how she controls when she moves around. Because she's so combat-focused, her movement is just a little bit basic and simple, and when you compare it to the other characters, it's just like, I just want to go through all the stages as the other characters and do the boss fights as Nera. But you can't do that. I'm not saying you should be able to do that, I'm just saying that's how I feel. Another interesting quirk is I started playing the game and I thought, yeah, this is Freedom Planet, yeah, sure, this is Freedom Planet 2, no worries. And I thought to myself, it looks pretty much the same, doesn't it? And then I went and actually looked back at Freedom Planet 1, and my god, it's an incredible upgrade visually. It really is a testament to just how well they've managed to capture the same sort of feel as the original, but still completely evolve it and make it look so much better as a result. The original looks, with the deepest respect, basic in comparison. I really enjoy this game. I kind of wish I could just play the classic mode from the very beginning, but that's just me. It's not a big deal. I can skip the cutscenes, I can turn the voices off. It's all good, and this game is a good.